YouTube, what it do is your boy Benji. We back between the ropes. Fresh off an episode of AEW, which was fresh off of All In. If you're new, give me a little patience, man. We just started watching AEW, and I ain't gonna lie, it's been solid since I caught in. I know I'm a little late with this review, but you gotta forgive me. I had to watch Superman. It's typically tough for a program to follow a crazy show like All In, so it's interesting to me to see what the bounce back will look like. A bunch of doors were open, a bunch of storylines need to be created. What are they going to do to ride this crazy amount of momentum? First things first, you had your new champion, Hangman Adam Page, show up. It wasn't long at all before the "You Deserve It" chant started, and the man with the plan had to let the crowd know they deserve it. For the crowd, he put his body on the line, and he chased this championship. And he points out how important that it is for the fans to be able to see the championship. Because a lot of people have griped about the Death Riders, and specifically our previous champion, holding the championship belt in the briefcase, away from sight. He then began to think about the path that led him to this moment and thanked literally everybody. Because remember, there was chaos before his win. He even thanked Swerve. And look, I'm going to catch that match in their build-up too. And he capped it all off with "I am champion of the effing world." Which, I didn't going to say that. Oh, whoa. But yeah, after a banger of a speech from Hangman, we got Kyle Fletcher showing up against MASCARA DORADA. He's obviously very angry. Kyle Fletcher is not playing around. He's fuming, actually, after coming up short in All In for the TNT Championship. Dorado began to grab the upper hand and then hit Fletcher with a crazy shooting star press to the outside of the ring. Of course, Dorado was amazing. He hit a crazy 450 that Fletcher kicked out of, and then he was almost able to catch him with this nice little moonsault off the top rope, but Fletcher actually caught him midair. And that was the beginning of the end. He ended up planting that boy with a brain buster and then got in the camera spitting and slobbering, and he talked about how Dustin Rhodes took the biggest moment of his life away from him, so it looks like he will have a target on his back. And that's how it works. The more belts you get, that's the prize. You're going to have more and more people against you. I can't even lie, one of my favorite segments of the show, and it's something that they continue to keep building upon, was life without the EVPs for the Young Bucks. They showing up in an Uber now, no limo. They don't have executive suites. They living amongst the common folks. Common folks. That was a tongue twister right there. I don't know why I messed that up. We got people backstage laughing at them. Even Ricochet, who the Young Bucks reminded that they just tagged with. Then Don Callis showed up, and he was at least empathetic. And Don Callis was able to put an offer out there to form an alliance, to which the Young Bucks decided to accept. MJF and the Hurt Syndicate are on TV right afterward, and the MVP points out how much he would love to gloat, how much he would love to brag, but at the end of the day, this is regular, this is normal. They expected themselves to win. And he starts begging people for a proper challenger. MJF goes nuclear, talking about how happy he is that Hangman Page was able to win his match. Because apparently if dictator Jon Moxley would have won, it would have just been too easy. And from what I've been able to see from these guys the last couple of weeks, I would be very, 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 very excited to watch a feud between MJF and Hangman Adam Page. There was a dope line too, where MJF is like, "Last time I checked, nice guys finished last." And MVP's in the background like, "And last time we checked, we're not nice at all." We then get the match where the Young Bucks team up with the Callis family against Brody King, Bandito, and Jet Speed. It was funny to watch the Young Bucks come out and their entrance is like trash, and it's like the producing team is making fun of them for losing. The production team just has absolutely no No coup. It's disrespectful. But there are some funny moments where, like for example, the Young Bucks are able to set up guys for their EVP triggers, but then they realize they can't call the EVP trigger anymore. What are they going to do? Everybody loves Brody King. There was a crazy sequence, too, where there was like a crazy moonsault to the outside, but a springboard moonsault. And then there was a crazy ace crusher to the inside of the ring, downing the opponent. We get a bunch of super kicks, but yeah, man, Dito takes a beating. They hit him with a couple crazy combos. And it's one of those moments, too, where the referees check on the opponent, who at this moment is Bandito. He's put in a submission and like doesn't really like tap out or anything like that. He just knocked out, and the referee just calls it. Not terribly mad at it. Again, I mean, watching the tag team madness, I'm not upset at it either. But if you had to ask me, the focus of this match should have been the Young Bucks, which, you know, at the end of the day, they were highlighted. But it looks like there's going to be something serious going on with Don Callis and these guys. But they already mentioned that they're not going to join the Callis family. So I'm kind of just interested to see what this is going to mean. Because otherwise, this is kind of like a senseless match, which at least gives us a bunch of craziness. And we got an immediate payoff from Don Callis, so I don't know if that really meant anything for anybody. Adam Copeland shows up and talks about how, at the end of the day, what he did wasn't just to save Christian. It was about getting revenge on FTR. And him and FTR had known each other for years, actually, even prior to him even coming to All In. Which really shouldn't matter because Christian Cage known for decades. But he did allude to it in his speech because he told everybody how he really felt about Christian, and he's an a-hole. There were so many things that Christian had done to him once he decided to join AEW. So ultimately, when he was attacked by the Patriarchy, it was something that Adam Copeland had predicted. But the last few months that he was taken out of action due to FTR, their history really haunted him. And he's quickly interrupted by Stoke of the FTR. This dude walks up to the ring so confidently with like 10 security guards. And he lets Adam know he's officially been rendered a liability to the point where emails have been sent, conversations have been had. So if Adam Copeland comes anywhere near FTR to do anything as little as shaking their hands, he's done. He's fired. At first, Adam looks taken back by this, but then he realizes the loophole. Stokely didn't say anything about himself. And that might mean something as to why he came out there with all the security guards. So, of course, Cope starts attacking. It's going to be a long road for him. I don't know where I've been at, but apparently the women just randomly have matches for $100,000. Like a fatal four-way, just for $100,000. Forget a title shot, $100,000. I'm new, so I guess they do this regularly. We had Willow Nightingale versus Chris Statlander versus Queen Aminata versus Tekla. And remember how I alluded to how frequently they show a lot of the records under the people's names? I was kind of confused last week when Tekla lost. She got her payback. This match was a little chaotic. There were moments where, of course, people were pulling the referee out of the ring and all this other stuff. I'm not mad at that. I enjoy it. The women can hoop. There's some good gimmicks here. But yeah, again, another one of the moments where we think that Aminata is going to win. But I guess she just got a long list of enemies, bro. There is no one that wants to see her win. Aminata gets hit with a crazy mist, and it is Tekla who picks up the win in the midst of the chaos. Stomping this woman's floor. Headed right into the mud. I am stuttering like something amazing right now. She eventually stomps Queen Aminata's head right into the mat. Of course, one of my favorites, Toni Storm, comes out and addresses the crowd. And I think this setup was actually perfect for Miss Storm. She's able to kind of perch herself and talk. She drops a couple nice one-liners, like, for example, Mercedes Moné, she appreciates you for the moment and opportunity, but she set out to do plenty of things, and one of those was to eat her alive, and at the very end, she was delicious. No one on this show has any decorum, because Athena, who won the gauntlet match, decides to interrupt. The question is posed for when a showdown might occur, but it looks like right now, Athena has the upper hand. She's ready for a match. But Toni reminds her, no one really has the upper hand against her because she is timeless. Nick Wayne and his family let Christian know why they had to dismantle the Patriarch. Apparently, this has been building up for months. Nick started to form a little bit of resentment towards Christian because he was always talked down to because he hadn't won the amount of titles that Christian had won. But he's like, bro, you're old as heck. You're old as dirt. You's not my daddy. I'm 20 years old with the championship. It's only a matter of time before I continue to rack up more and more belts. So it's really not about what have I done. It's about what am I going to do. I will continue to comment and say Mama is looking very good. Our unified champion, Mr. Okada, is speaking following his win over Kenny Omega. He's flanked by Don Callis, and it looks like Don is getting straight to it, man. He's got everybody on the side of the Young Bucks. So I ain't gonna lie to you, aligning yourself with Don Callis' family might be the way to go. Because Okada talks about how now he wants to generate a little bit of beef with Mr. Swerve after what he did to his friends at All In. His friends, the Young Bucks. Hey, look, if you cool with Don Callis, you cool with me. Swerve shows up and looks like we got another beef brewing. We did get a trios match to close the show out, which was a little bit confusing to me. I didn't honestly think that Hangman should be fighting anyone. After that crazy match that he had, he needs to sit down. John Moxley does not need to be fighting anyone after the match that he had. Ultimately, it's a reversal into a jackknife pin that gives Team Hangman the win. Of course, the Death Riders, again, are sore losers, and they decide to start attacking Hangman. And Moxley starts putting the beats on my boy. Darby Allin shows up in the rafters, and that does take aback Mr. Moxley, and he ends up eating a buckshot lariat, and him and the Death Riders get the heck up out of there. That ending I wasn't overly excited about, but I am going to give it a shot and see kind of where this builds. All in all, it was a solid show, I'd have to say. I mean, again, there were some funny moments, some entertaining points that are made, and it looks like there's going to be a lot of dope feuds developed. Again, I don't know where we go from here, but I'm at least interested to hear it out. But yeah, all in all, y'all let me know what y'all thought about All In and how excited we should be moving forwards.